I love the idea, by the way, of internal departments charging other departments to use the apps they built.
That might be pushing it a little bit.
Yeah,
but I mean, yeah.
Possible, right?
Yeah, it's possible.
Hello, No Code Ops. Phil here, and today I'm joined by Ned from Caspio. Ned, welcome to the Aha Moment Demo Show.
Hey, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. So would love to just start off just by learning a bit more about Caspio. So high level, what is Caspio? What are folks using it for to solve on the no-code front today?
Yeah, it's a great question. So Caspio, first and foremost, it is a no-code platform designed for anyone really to log in and develop public and internal facing applications, really without having to write a single line of code. Now, that said, we also don't want to limit creativity. So we do allow seasoned developers to log in and inject industry standard languages such as HTML, CSS, JS, SQL into the framework to create even more robust and sophisticated solutions.
Amazing.
So it's a little bit for everyone.
Cool.
Inside the platform.
What would you say are like the most common use cases for Caspio today?
Funny enough, like the number one request that we get is a custom CRM. Because Caspio has an unlimited user model, so meaning even if the organization has 10,000 employees or 50,000 employees, they can all be logged in simultaneously to access the CRM, add customers, watch revenue, forecast, pipeline. That is the number one benefit, really, because there's a lot of cost savings with the unlimited user model. So CRM is one of them. We have a lot of healthcare organizations using Caspio, most recently with the COVID pandemic. A lot of organizations were looking to deliver test results to their patients. So they used us for scheduling and then reporting so patients can log in and review the results of their test.
Amazing.
Also on the finance side, you can also do SaaS type applications if you're looking to monetize. Via the apps, you can connect to Stripe and PayPal if you wish to generate revenue from any of the public or internal applications.
Amazing. I love the idea, by the way, of internal departments charging other departments to use the apps they built.
That might be pushing it a little bit.
Yeah,
but I mean, yeah.
Possible, right?
Yeah, it's possible.
Cool. So do you want to jump in and show us just like an aha moment that a user, like a builder, would have within the product and building in something like Caspio versus another no-code tool?
Yeah, let me show you a demo that I put together for today's call. So since I'm on the topic of CRM, I put together a simple sales CRM. I'm going to log in as a sample user into the application. And once I log in, we're going to be able to see the dashboard. Every single chart that you see on the dashboard is built in Caspio and deployed on the web. And I'll talk about deployment in just a minute. But here we can see a holistic view of all of our data in a visual representation. Down below, we see a pivot table that gives us all of our sales data in aggregate. Here's an example of a tabular report built in Caspio that displays all the customer information. I can add a new customer if I wanted to. I can go to details. And from here, I can edit the customer detail. I can add a new log. I can add a deal. So I'm going to go back to my customer page and show you how quickly in Caspio we can modify this form and be able to add a new field and quickly have that field be available here on the submission form. So back in the back end now. So now I'm showing you the back office in Caspio where we build and manage applications. In Caspio, it's super easy to begin building an app. You click on this button up here, and then you can begin by importing data from Excel or Access database, or you can build your application from a blank template. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. Here's my today's demo, Sales CRM. I'm going to open it.
It all kind of starts like with a data table then, right? Like some information.
Correct. So in Caspio, the number one place where you always want to begin developing your applications is going to be the tables object. This is where all the data is going to reside. And just like a traditional database, in Caspio, you can do one-to-one relationships, you can do one-to-many, and you can do many-to-many. So here's my customer table. I'm going to click on design, and that's going to show me all of my fields along with the data types for each field, depending on what kind of data we want to collect. So say, for example, we wanted to add a fax number field. Type it out, fax. Click on save. And now to include that field into my submission form, I need to go to data pages. Data pages are web application interfaces that seamlessly embed into any website, intranet, and Caspio today is compatible with just about any CMS if you're using Webflow, WordPress, Weebly. And it's super simple to embed a form. You simply click on the deploy link, you enable deployment status, and then Caspio gives us 5 different deployment methods, with the embed model being the most popular method. You get a snippet of code, you copy and paste that into your site, and you're going to be able to see that form seamlessly embed. But now that we've added that fax number field to the table, I'm going to edit my form. These are all the different types of application interfaces you can develop: submission forms, update forms, password recovery. You can do different report layouts. You can do calendars.
Oh, wow.
You can do charts.
Update forms, basically, like if you know the user already and they're logged in and authenticated in some way, they can update some form of information about themselves, like a profile update or something.
That's correct. Yeah. So if I log in as a user, I can update my password, I can update my email, or I can update a single record that I have within the table.
Very cool.
So since this form is already created in advance, I've selected submission form. We're going to hit next. It's based off of my data source table, the customer table, where we just added that fax number field. If I hit next, I just need to find that fax number field. Here it is. I move that to the right into my form. And on the following screen, you find that fax number field. You can move it up and down if you'd like, depending on where you want that field to be listed. I'm going to put it underneath my phone number field. And then using the form element dropdown, you can see a slew of options on how we can modify each field. We can turn that into a text area, radio button, drop down, depending on how you want to collect that information. For me, we're going to leave it as a text field. We're going to hit finish to save our changes. And now back on the front end, if I click on the form, you will now see that fax number field available in the submission form. So it's really that easy to modify something in the back end and make that information available on the front end for the end user to consume or interact with.
And when would you say is the point in like a user's, like an operational user's journey where they're using Excel or Google Sheets to manage a lot of these processes, or kind of, ad hoc building or hacking together their own CRM? When is the point in their journey where like we should really consider something like Caspio?
Yeah, if you think of Excel is not a true database. There's a lot of issues with security as well. If you're looking to create a relational database, what's great about Caspio is that you can bring in and import all of your Excel spreadsheets, and then you can connect them using primary keys and foreign keys using the relationships button. So here, I'll very quickly show you the schema of this relationship.
Yeah.
So here we have all of our tables linked using the primary keys and foreign keys. And for those who have a database background, they're going to feel right at home with this screen, because you can move tables left and right however you want. A lot of people like to work top to bottom. My personal preference is left to right. And eventually, if you have a lot of tables in a relational database, it can start to look like a giant spider web.
Yeah.
So anything from security when it comes to password protecting your application to workflows, that's another big thing in Caspio, is to be able to do triggers on table level. So I'm just going to show you that as well. So if I click on more and do triggered actions, we use a Blockly framework to automate a lot of business procedures in the back end. So this is very useful for inventory management systems. If you're looking to do an audit trail, imagine you have 2 of the same exact tables. If you make an update on one table, I want that update to be added to my history log table at the same time, all behind the scenes. And the end user doesn't really need to do that themselves because it's all autonomous in the back end.
Amazing.
So that's one very powerful feature. You can see different actions that you can perform, everything from sending email to sending SMS. You can delete data, insert data, and update data. You can also do loops. You can do different types of logic, if and then statement and case statements. A lot of different date variables as well. And you can also create variables too, which you can reuse in the trigger, similar to how you develop, how you use JavaScript as well to reuse the variable.
That's great. So it's like your own automations platform, like workflow automation within Caspio.
Correct.
Great.
Correct.
Super cool.
Yeah. And I'll just mention one more thing, when it comes to data pages, this is our bread and butter, if you will, our way of building these applications without coding. Everything that we do in here is point and click, and essentially your application will be comprised of maybe one data page if it's a simple app, or multiple data pages if you have workflows. And just like in my example here in the dashboard, you can see I have multiple charts. I can filter my charts if I needed to based on the sales rep. I have pivot tables, we have tabular reports. And to go back to what you said earlier, if I go to profile, it allows the end user to update the data. Only I've disabled a button for the demo. I don't want somebody to log in and be able to change the credentials.
Wouldn't be good.
To something
I love
else.
it. Well, Ned, this is amazing. So powerful. I remember evaluating Caspio a long time ago when I was working at Get, and I was just blown away by its functionality, and like to see how much it's grown since that, like 4 years ago. Amazing.
And there's no way for me to show you everything. This is just the tip of the iceberg, because it is a powerful system. There's so much you can do with tasks. You can style your application with CSS. You can create different localizations for different regions. Authentication is a huge object as well. One thing that a lot of enterprise organizations like about Caspio is when you create the authentication, not only can you link that authentication back to your table where the end user information resides, but you can also create a custom authentication where you can connect to a SAML. So if you have a single sign-on, if you're using Microsoft Azure, if you're using Active Directory or Okta, and if your internal employees already have their credentials stored inside a repository, you can log into Caspio's application simultaneously. You don't have to store the credentials in Caspio if you don't want to.
Amazing. The joys of single sign-on. I love it.
Makes it easy, much more efficient to log in as well.
Ned, this was awesome. If people want to learn more about Caspio, get in touch with you, how should they do that?
So there are a lot of different ways. Even on our website, caspio.com, you can contact us. You can talk to somebody in support or sales. We do offer free online training as well. It's completely complimentary to anyone to learn how to use the platform. We also have our live stream on YouTube every Monday at 10 a.m. On Caspio's YouTube channel. And the phone number is right there on the website, caspio.com. So they can call in, and if they have a project or an idea, what they're hoping to develop, somebody at Caspio will definitely let them know if it's a feasible and a project fit for Caspio's platform.
Amazing. Well, Ned, this was awesome. Thanks so much for being on the show. And looking forward to staying in touch and joining one of your streams at some point.
Sounds good. Thank you, Phil. Have a great day.
Easy. Bye.
All right.